محمد وآل محمد.
المكالمة هذه احنا خصصناها عشان حق الشباب والشابات، خاصة الإخوان والأخوات المولودين هنا، وطبعا اللغة الإنجليزية هي اللغة القوية عندهم. فإذا كان الشباب برا داخل، يلا صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وسيد الوصيين، الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرض بأبي القاسم محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Do I have anybody here 10 years old or younger? لا أنت 9 فلسه. شوف كده 9 years old 10 years old 7
You're younger بعد شو؟
كم عمرك؟ 7. Come here. Do you know do you know the name of the imams? Who's in between? Who's in between? Give him a loud salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
You start Imam Ali salam Allah, you finish your Imam Hujjah, so that's a gift to him. Here, that's a gift for you. We have a good keychain with the name Imam Ali alayhi mentioned it, and Sayyid Abdul Fuqar attached to it. So this is inshallah, he'll give it gift to his father or mother, or he keeps it for himself when he starts having his car.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون. God has mentioned that the earth will be inherited by the mu'mineen, by the good people. He did not say Middle East will be inherited. He did not say Europe will be inherited. He did not say America will be inherited. Yet he said the entire earth, regardless, will be carried away, will be inherited by mu'mineen and ibadi as-salihun, the good deed people, the virtuous people. I try to emphasize in 3 points with the time being is why the Imam in the disappearance status. Second, is it possible for a man or a woman, we're going to say a man this time, to live this long? We're going to say maybe more than 1,000 years. Third, where is he now? Where is he located? So we'll start, inshallah, we'll say, is it possible for a person to live that long? Let's go back and read from our own Quran, the Holy Book. We're going to see the Quran mentioned that there are people lived almost close to that age. We know Adam lived 950 years. Noah, Nabi Nuh, lived, and it's mentioned in the Quran, 950 years. So these are very close ages to 1,000, 1,025 that we have. And Nabi Isa, Jesus what we call him, he's still alive. He's not dead. We know that. It's mentioned he was lifted up and he's still alive. And from the Quran, we also know and Nabi Yunus, yet he's dead, but God mentioned if it wasn't for his prayer and his dua, you would have left in the stomach of the whale forever until the doomsday. So there's a possibility that not just Yunus, a man, human being, of course, Nabi, prophet, and even the fish, the whale, will live until doomsday. So, for an imam to say that he lived more than 1,000 years, it's not impossible for Allah. And living can live longer, inshallah. Second is, what's the point of his disappearance? Why is he not showing up? Why is he not among us? Why is he in the status of disappearance? If you go to a neighborhood and they have a basketball court, and the youth start playing basketball at nighttime, the city provides lights for them. And if the ball hits the light, what will happen? Break. So the city will come back and replace the light. And the youth go play again next night, and they hit the light again. What will happen? Break thoughts again. So the city said, okay, you know, enough is enough. Before we replace this light for good, we're gonna protect this light. We'll get some protection under it, around it, so when the ball hits it, it won't break. For the city to come, they protect the light, and the people play basketball, the light is protected. Now this is exactly what happened to our 11 imams that we have before Imam al-Hujjah alayhi salam. There was a nur there. There is imam, but they're killed or poisoned. For the imam to stay in this status, Allah said, well, I'll protect him. We have to protect him like we're protecting the light, to keep it protected until the orders come to bring the peace to earth. And that's the status, basically. Why is he in the disappearance status? Now, what is the imam? Is he in the Middle East? Everybody give you a story. He might be around in Palestine, he might be in Iraq, Iran, Middle East. But let me finish this to tell you. And I'll conclude this with a true story. Then you make a decision where the imam is located. One of our scholars, he said, I made a trip to Mashhad. And when I finished my duty in Mashhad, there was a plan to take the bus and go another city. The way the bus was set, it's just like school bus we have these days. If they have 2 seats sitting next to each other in a row, and 2 passengers sitting in a seat. Now this scholar was saying, he said that we all got in a bus, and apparently it's a long trip. And the people start loading, and everybody's getting his seat. And I sat in my seat. The next seat next to me was empty. And people still boarding. I was hoping nobody will sit next to me so I have more comfortable time till I get to the next city. And here it is. The door closed, nobody sat next to me. So I thank Allah. But before the bus moved, somebody knocked the door. It's the last passenger supposed to board. I was hoping, now this scholar is saying, I was hoping this man would be at least a ritual man, a peaceful man, a slender man, sitting next to me to join me at my trip. But when I saw the person, the passenger who boarded the bus, it was a youth. And he has his earphones hanging in his ear. So the first thing I said, oh my God. Now I have to live with this person all the way until I get to my trip. But we don't know what this guy was listening to. Anyway, so he sat, the bus started, we went through our travel to the next city. On the way to about maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, this youth stood up and went to the driver. And he demanded for the driver to stop the bus. And the driver refused. And a big conversation went between them. Apparently we realized that it's time for prayer time. And this youth is demanding the bus driver to stop so he can get out and do his prayer. Apparently, after a while, the driver gave up and stopped, so we all went out and did our prayer. I noticed that youth, he had special water with him, carried some water with him in a glass. He was ready for this, apparently. Made his wudu. The first one, Jonah, he did his prayer, and he finished prayer. And he went to the bus and he sat. I was shocked. This youth that I thought he's going to be listening to la la la, he's the first one. He did his prayer, and he's demanding for the bus to stop. He was really on his time for prayer. So I finished my prayer, I got to the bus, and the bus started going. Continued the trip. So I asked this youth, I said, why did you do that? Why did you come to this point? You amazed me. Very nice from you. He said, you know what, Maulana, I used to live with my family, one of the villages in Iran. And he said, I always continue hearing my grandmother saying, Ya Hujjatullah, Ya Hujjatullah, Ya Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman, Ya Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. I got sick and tired of it. I didn't really get the good explanation why is this, but continuously my grandmother saying in the house, and it stuck in my mind. Not that I follow up with it, not how to do it, but it's stuck in my mind. I had to keep it. So, all the way until I finished high school. When I finished high school, I said, okay, enough is enough. I want to go continue my education in Europe. So I decided to go to France. To continue my education in France. No more Hujjatullah, no more bothering me, no more anything else. I go all the way to France. Went to France. Time of finals. Test. I took my test. I passed all of them except one. I failed the test, one of the tests. And the program, the curriculum problem, the system that time is if you fail one test, you have an opportunity to retake the test, and if you fail it, you have to take the entire semester again. Not just one course. Now this is in France. So I went to the professor and I told him, Professor, this is my story. The professor said, okay, I'll give you one chance. It's this day and this time. That's it. Either make it, do or die. I said, fine. I know I'm going to pass the test, but I just have to make sure I make it to this day and this time. All right, so I went back to my place to live. Apparently he was away from my university about 45 minutes or an hour drive. The day of the test came. I said, okay, I woke up and took public transportation, which is a taxi that time. There's some passengers with us. I said, okay, let's go to that area, university area. On the way to the university to take the test, the car broke down. The driver came out, started working in the car, trying to help out. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in the back